The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. And just thinking of what are the most pandering songs of all time. Listening to the lead-in music here today. But I do digress. We have to actually talk about market things. And they're not doing a great deal, but they're doing a little bit. We had one more attempt to bust through the 2100 area on the S&P cash. Volume comes in at 2.5 billion shares. Of course, we opened lower, 2086 for the low today on the S&P cash. And, we've got some decent volume, and it really starts coming in above 2090. We find some real sellers in this market. I have begun putting positions on. I haven't shorted an index as of yet. But I think there is a fairly decent market setting up. And any kind of weakness out here probably would continue down. I'm kind of looking at about the 1920 level as a support if we break here now with the patterns I'm seeing set up. So 180 points, something like that. And we could see that, I think, by the end of May. This is kind of a do or die market right now. There are so many stocks getting ready to give so many signals. In fact, I was almost thinking about that today. Winston Churchill, never have so many stocks given so many signals for so few points in the S&P cash. But what can we say about that? Sometimes the market just does not want to do anything. But I think we're kind of set up here for a market that it may be a coin flip. But I think it's a coin flip of maybe 20, 25 points higher in the S&P cash or 180 points lower. And with if you think it's 50-50 odds, probably not a bad place to start thinking about putting a position on. Certainly with the VIX well below the, where is it at right here? The VIX well below the $14 range. And it's not actually 15-point or 14-point range. Anything below 16, and you're going to find sometimes options are far cheaper and risk-averse over holding the equity. And the reason why is, of course, the decay when it's higher. You just can't live through any kind of sideways action when the VIX is high because, of course, the premium melts so quick as ice cream on Georgia asphalt in July. And, of course, some people like to give the fish analogy, and that is, the fish in the hand only stinks more, not less, the longer you hold them. But, off a buck on the S&P cash, not a lot happening. But I suspect there are some big moves coming in this market through probably the end of May. And at that point, we're going to find out if there's anything more to the downside. But certainly looks to me like a bigger trading range from about the highs we've hit now back down to the low 1900s. And not a big deal at all. I'm not saying the end of the world, but very little out there. GDP numbers came in, of course, 0.5%. I think if the reality was in there, we'd probably be down negative 0.1%. I'm not saying there's a big recession. It's just zero growth and probably the tiniest of recessions. And, of course, anytime anything moves, the Fed and the Treasury are there to squash it with a move of the dollar. We're off 63 cents on the dollar index, 93.76. And, of course, opened lower on the S&P cash and there was a tidal wave of dollars hitting the market because, of course, the Japanese decided that they were not going to scream all in at the final table of the World Series of, I'd say poker, but the World Series of Forex. They would not scream uncle. And, of course, we saw a lot of movement in that dollar yen and other currencies overnight, too, that kind of spiked a great deal of that as we speak. Anyway, it is a very interesting day. And, of course, every day we get together at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every trading day. And what else do we have going on? We got a lot of moving stocks to get through today, so we'll try to power through it. I will be back for the 4 o'clock hour, and we will be critiquing earnings, which there are a ton. We'll get into that in the news. And in fact, we need to start this party with a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is, in this day in 1970, the stock market slumps a bit, dropping almost 10% for the year to date. President Richard M. Nixon declares if he had any cash to spare, he would be buying stocks right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average finishes the day at 724.33. By the time Nixon resigns, almost a year later, or actually 4 years later, the Dow is at 777, a compound annual return of less than 2%. Sometimes you just can't get blood out of a stone or a turnip. They say both things. But sometimes a market does nothing but go sideways. After the bell tonight, we've got Amazon, Amgen, Athena Health, Baidu, Expedia, Flextronics, Gilead Sciences, Groupon, Hartford Financial, Juniper Networks, LinkedIn, NetSuite, Outerwall, Pandora, Select Comfort, Skyworks Solution, Trimble Navigation, VeriSign, Western Digital, and Wynn Resorts. When we get in tomorrow, we wake up to Monster Beverage, Phillips 66, Royal Caribbean Cruises, Seagate Technologies, and Tyco, plus all the other stocks of interest. It didn't seem to affect it a great deal. In fact, let me get a current quote. But the current CEO of Priceline is on the outs. It's off $13. I'd been watching this one kind of closely. It looked to me before as if this thing was probably one of the weaker stocks out here. In fact, one of the examples on the webpage is this stock making probably one of the best signals at about $200, many 3 or 4 years ago. And it did very well. But it would test it. It was one of those, I think it was around $200. I'll have to look at the chart again on the website. But it did test around that $200 level with very light volume and has done nothing but head up higher. The question is whether or not the CEO, if this is just a big story, and it's very tough to read through this because you never know exactly what's going on. They don't tell you the full story. And I always wonder if this is the true reason. But, of course, saying he had an inappropriate relationship with somebody that worked for him, but not directly. And I'm wondering whether or not, I'm sure he's made enough money. But I always wonder if these things are just not an excuse to exit stage left before things break. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Well, we got stocks moving with a market not moving all that much. Abbott Laboratories down fairly significantly today. Let's see what we got here. Let me get something up. Come on, give. There we go. What else we have out here? Abbott Laboratories down 6% as we speak. It's still up a little bit off its lows. But, of course, almost all these had earnings news out, down from some fairly significant volume. We've been talking about this pattern for a while. And, man, if we could just get a little bit more out here to hang my hat on, I'd love to start playing these double repo patterns. But they've been going up for so long. Normally, you want 10 to 15 days, and a lot of these stocks are 20, 25, 30, some as far as 35 days above the 9-day moving average. When they fail rather spectacularly. And, of course, these things are priced for perfection. So when they come down with a giant thud. I will call that thud today. 43 million shares as we speak. If you're looking at this chart, that's all you've got to take a look at and look about. Zeners are 10. A lot of these are some companies that are in the bio space. So I don't know if I spend a great deal of time with all that. SGI, you really have to look at this one, getting a pounding today. Silicon Graphics, a company that I actually spent the summer at Stanford. It'd be, 91, 92, when we were looking at building a product for them. they actually came off of something we were already building. They wanted us to build a product for them. And at that time, Mr. Clark, who went on, it was 92, because he went on to create Netscape. And there was actually with a guy that I met and knew around the computer clubs in Champaign, Illinois. Very interesting guy. He was very thinking very forward at the time, and he wanted to take the Silicon Graphics system and basically do what Linux did. He wanted to blow this thing out and then make high-end machines that could also use it. But he wanted to go up against what Red Hat and the rest of the companies did in 92. His board would have none of it. So he told them to go pound salt left and formed Netscape. And, of course, Mozilla and all the other companies that came out of that in the browser wars of the 90s. Flash forward to now, still making high-end machines, but nothing like they were in the 90s. They really started making their coin in the 80s when people were looking for workstations to start doing quantitative analysis in the stock market. They moved into the graphical fields. When I was there, they were actually building basically refrigerator-sized devices that had to do with memory that was actually going to be used on Jurassic Park. Kind of vaguely remember that. So it may have been 91. I'll have to go back and look now. All I remember was a very pleasant summer in San Francisco, or in the San Francisco area at Stanford, going in and taking their boot camp through summertime. I was there about 6 or 8 weeks. Unfortunately, he quit about 3 weeks after I finished all this, and it came to no good. Talking about coming to no good is the huge volume blowing through this last of the Mohicans. I guess Cray, probably the other company really competing on this high end as a public company, and maybe IBM to a large extent. They're not building a lot of scientific computing like Silicon Graphics and Cray does. But it's blown through all the previous lows out here today. You can't say anything more about it than that. It gets the losing horn for being off 33% today. Other big losers of the day, I will refrain from playing the loser horn because we'll get into the ones that do better in the future. Infinera, INFN, drop the chalupa. Let's go for a little longer time frame here, if we can. Back to where it all started. Back to the future is what I'm going to call this one today. On the 21st of October, 2014, it gapped up. It did so with a great deal of fanfare and volume. 24 million shares. We're back into it with 16 million shares. And actually probably going to find some level of support as long as this thing does not really ramp up before the end of the day and blow the volume out. Of course, it's not going to do it in one day, but it will probably take some time. But if this thing can hold this $11 level, might not be all that bad. To Carbo Ceramics, the gift that keeps on giving for those that are short. It continues to do poorly. If you're unfamiliar with this company, it was the belle of the ball a few years ago. They made special ceramic balls that were pumped in to do fracking. But what happened? They found out that you could kind of polish sand and do it for a whole lot cheaper. This is one of the stocks that our money monster, Mr. Kramer.
Bring me the head of the false prophet, Jim Cramer.
Certainly. 156, he blew this thing up to the highs July 1st at 156 bucks for 2014 July 1st, and it's come back down. It's not just because, of course, the lower price of crude, but because sand actually can replace what they made. There's still a few wells, but again, this adds a lot of expense to it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have the most expensive wells open. The question I wonder about on this one is whether or not this can continue as a going concern if we have prices under 60 bucks for the foreseeable future. I don't think a lot of people are saying over 60 bucks in crude anytime soon. But interestingly, none the same. Oh, yeah, we've got lots of stocks out here. Someone talking about Netgear. We've got all of them. I've gone through them all today. We will continue to look. Where is it at here? I wanted to get the symbol. See right here. Okay, up 13%. This is going after its high with a volume, as someone pointed out in the den. This got right back up pretty much to its gap down that happened on the 4th of January. It blew through that. It's gone to the highs. You need this thing to close over the 45.76 of December 7th, a day that will live in infamy 2015. When we come back, we'll look at Facebook because when I looked before, it looked like it was not going to hold its previous highs. When we get back, we'll look at that. But I think it's 117. Anyway, that's what's known as a tease in the industry. We're going to tease this and see whether it can hold that previous high when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back talking yesterday about the range of Facebook. I thought that probably this confluence level at the bottom at 101 would probably hold yesterday around $100 on that if it disappointed. And I thought 117.59 was kind of the high. We kind of blew through that a little bit, but the real question is going to be whether or not anybody will hold on to a breakout in this market. The February 2nd high, 117.59, 59 million shares. You got 71 million shares already, so that's not the question. The question is whether or not you can hold the 117.59 into the close. So we want to be watching that. Some of these stocks moving okay. We're off 2 points on the S&P cash, 2.7 billion shares on the New York Consolidated tape, but not a huge move out here in the markets, at least not yet. And maybe we could continue moving sideways as we have for a while. Some of the stocks are moving a little bit more than others, but what can you say? A lot of stocks kind of had some blow-off tops today. We'll be looking at those tomorrow. Let's go back to the stocks that are moving today. What do we get? Carboceramics, LifeLock, OSI Systems. Let's take a look at that. OSIS. So many stocks, so little time. This one blew apart. Of course, it's looked rather horrible for a while. Let's get the profile on this one. And what do we have? Engages in the design, manufacture, and sale of specialized electronic systems and components worldwide. Healthcare, optoelectronics, and manufacturing. The company, cargo and vehicle inspection, rapid scan, medical devices, light sensors, defense avionics, all kinds of stuff. LCD displays for medical devices, and a lot of stuff. Let's put it that way. But no room in the inn for this one today, other than the fact that it is not got the kind of volume that it blew apart with on January 28th. 3.5 million shares on that date at 48.19. We have not tested that low yet, but 1.2 million shares so far. So maybe a few of these washouts may end up being something as we go forward. But interesting to see this one move on it. What else do we have on here? Harman International, another one that's blown up. HAR. Take a quick look at this guy. And then we'll go to some of the winners, because there are some winners and some losers out here. Harman kind of blew apart with a volume today. And we'll go for the profile for this guy, too. I don't see anything that says after this volume that just doesn't head right back down to the 66.20 low from February 8th. It's already got the volume of that high volume low back then. And of course, designs, engineers, manufacturers, markets, audio system, visual products, enterprise, automation solutions, connected services for automakers, consumers, enterprises worldwide. Infotainment, lifestyle, professional services, all kinds of stuff. It makes AKG headphones, which I use a different brand. Harman Kardon, JBL, Mark Levinson, Revel brands under the Bowers and Wilkins, Bang & Olufsen, and Canton brands. And I wanted to make sure I got all of them in here. They bought AKG and turned those headphones into horrible ones. So I'm not very happy on them. They've kind of they're big on buying brands that have some big names and just kind of tramping out the products to get bigger market share and use the name as long as it's available. But what else can you say about it? Down with heavy volume, and the 66.20 looks open from the February 8th low on this one. We got enough time to do several more out here. Xilinx, it's no Altera, ZLNX down 8% today. And let's take a closer look into this. It's headed back down to its previous low, $40.44 on January 15th. Excuse me. $40.44, 7.6 million shares. We kind of spiked down into there, did not test that low, but I think it's going to work its way down to that $40.44 low. Certainly have all the kind of volume you have in that one necessary today with Xilinx. This one's very tough. Of course, its main competitor, Altera, bought by Intel. And I don't know if you can say anything other than they're kind of the odd man out. Certainly have a lot of applications for programmable logic, which is what Xilinx did. I was always an Altera guy. We bought, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of their programmable logic chips in the products that I helped develop and sell throughout the 90s. Now these things rival PC processors. And of course, Intel actually building this technology in its new server line of chips as we go forward. Let's look at the big winners out here. Cliff Natural actually catching probably a lot of shorts in the shorts. Big volume on this thing today. In fact, you have to go back to almost a year ago to get the kind of volume on, what is that, to April 23rd, we had 18 million shares. Today, what do we have, 38 million shares? What was this one back here? 41 million shares on, what is that, April 24th of 2015. So, you know, we've had some fairly decent volume days in this, and we're approaching that in Cliff's Natural today. You know, this thing really went down to $1.20. It's come back up to these highs. But I think a great deal of people bet on these stocks going out of business. And, of course, they are not. Other big movers today is General Cable Corporation, GC, what's that? BGC. It is a big winner. I got to get a winning song. I've got the loser horn. But a nice little pop on this guy today. General Cable. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at this one back here. It has blown through. It has blown through a lot of what it was doing, and headed back up for a previous high. 1730 is the next high from August 6th of 2015. Just had 840,000 shares. You already have 1.2 million shares today. No real high volume lows that really stick out here. The one downside on a lot of these stocks continues to be high volume lows. The February 12th low, 1.6 million shares, still hanging out there, and problematic at best when 4 out of 5 stocks will come back and test these lows within 6 months after making them. You're really betting against general related market trends, betting against untested high volume lows, which you do have in General Cable. We looked at Netgear. We'll look on assignment up 10%, and what, Yanx up 8.5%, and Facebook 117.65, watching that previous high. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, don't miss out on the Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This is the second running of their popular 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD, which gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There's no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The May 19th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And discussing music during the breaks here with the engineer. And I have to say that, that REM song about, they wrote probably the only decent love song I've ever heard. Most of them are so saccharine and full of platitudes and everything else. But there's some good music out there. What else do we have going on here? Pilgrim's Pride. Nice little bounce up here on PPG. Where are we at here? Get back to this. Up 12% today. Wanted to see how a lot of these, and they're continuing to do it. We want to watch how Facebook closes, of course. We talked about whether or not it can hold its high today with a market that looks like it's ready to roll. You've got all the volumes you want on some of these stocks. They go right up to the highs or go over the highs and then pull right back into the trading ranges. And I think that's a fairly interesting description about the way that some of these are working. If you blinded me with science, you've got to have Mr. Dolby out here, and he's up 13.5 points. It is breaking out, and with volume. Not all of these, of course, so nice to do that. If you go back through 2 years, it's blowing through its August 25th, 2014 high that had 330,000 shares. It's never a huge seller. I think caught a lot of people napping in this one with 1.7 million shares to 48.70. What's the price on that right now, Mr. Dolby? And blinding me with science, 48.19. So looks like maybe this one will hold that August 25th high. It's already done it with a volume, so there are a couple out there. But I would say that the overwhelming pattern so far are these stocks like Facebook hitting these highs and then having problems holding them most of the day. That probably the close will be very important on Facebook on whether it can do that. Probably tell us a great deal about the market too. On assignment up 10%, ASGN. See if we've got anything in this. 37.50 is the last print. Is that right? 37.50. Got to 39.10 today. Kind of tanked yesterday, popped up today. and again could not hold and back into the trading range again on this one, but still one of the bigger movers of the day. Haynes Brands, HBI, up 7%. HBI. Take a quick look at this guy. Man, it's still in kind of a asymmetrical triangle. In fact, on this one, I think when we've talked about asymmetrical triangles, you would want to look at this one. And the reason why is that as soon as the first breakout of that triangle is generally the one you want to fade. And I'm going to say that this is the first breakout of an asymmetrical triangle. If we looked at yesterday as the pivot point, or kind of in that range of the pivot point, you had one day that sold off on the 22nd of April here, but still you want to watch this stock extremely closely. You had all the volume in the world. It could not hold the previous high of March 18th. And you may just it may be as good as it gets. What else do we have? Whiting Petroleum, Harmony, Gold Fields, all the gold stocks up, of course, on the routing of the dollar index. Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Now let's take a quick look at this. I haven't looked at it for a while. VRTX up 6% today. Is this thing, it's not really. Man, trying to see if you can get a hold on it. Certainly, if you would have had some volume, you could have said this was a sign of strength off the lower open this morning, but more of a football than anything else. See what else do we have out here. Extreme Networks, EXTR. We got plenty of time. We're going through lots of stocks today. Extreme Networks got right up to its gap down with heavy volume. This thing got blown apart back on the 28th of January with 5.4 million shares, and it has not made a million shares so far back up to its gap. So it's trying to fill its gap. Doesn't have a lot of juice. A lot of juice on the way down. Let's see what else do we have out here. Netgear, Dolby, General Cable, Neff Corporation. I'm not familiar with this company. We will get familiar with it before the show ends. Not a lot of volume in this one. No reason why I don't know it. Say no volume stocks. Okay, let's see what we have on the opposite side. First Solar off about 7%. FSLR. I think everybody knows how I feel about these solar companies, and that is, of course, they've never made economic sense. We do have a volume, but I don't know if we're holding or going to close below this January 20th low, but I think that's one you want to look at. $57, $57.20, 3.8 million shares. We're into it already with 5.1 million shares. Energy was slightly more on the way down than on the way up, but these companies continue to be problematic. We just had, what was it, last week, the bankruptcy of Soon. All these companies that believe that solar power somehow is going to be cheaper than natural gas or coal or nuclear energy. And of course, it costs 3 or 4 times what it does. And the simple reason that most people don't think about is, where are you going to store that energy from the day so you can use it at night? Well, you can't. So now you have to build a nuclear power plant and the first solar, or you have to buy a gas-fired plant or a coal-powered plant and the solar facility, until you get a system that, one, is economical, and two, can store vast amounts of power for the night. It continues to be a very problematic issue. Most people don't think in the way of systems. And of course, in broadcast video and television in Hollywood, it's not, making a movie is not one thing. It's all the different people that have to come together to put something out. Whether it's like car companies. Let's say that you had a car, and the car got 200 miles to the gallon. Unfortunately, the car is 40 feet wide to make it work. Is everybody going to spend $40 trillion on new roads that are 40 feet wide times 2, so 80 feet wide, so that they can use these brand new cars. They may get gas mileage out the yin-yang, but if it doesn't work with the system and the system costs too much to get into it, it is problematic. I always put these in the wishful thinker category for most stocks, and that is what happens. Now, of course, this gave a very plain signal of blowing through its previous top. The January 5th high had 6.3 million shares. The March 18th high had 3.3 million shares. It came in with half the volume. Not a big surprise that you're headed back down the other side of it. Maybe some technology comes through that makes this thing a viable product. Until then, it is on my brown list.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Man, we are going through a ton of earnings today. And, I had that email. What song was I talking about from REM? Probably the best love song ever, Losing My Religion. It's great. What else do we have going on out here? Got a few emails. We'll try to wrap that up in this segment. Everybody's still on the MSFT bandwagon. I don't know if you can really say a great deal about this, other than, I think you've pretty much got the kind of volume and down volume that comes from missing earnings. You had a light volume at the top. You've got a lot of energy on the way down. You've got a gap on the way down. Could this bounce back up to 52.66, 52.48, somewhere in there? I think it probably could, but at the same time, more likely, I think you're headed down into the either 49 or low 48s from these two previous lows before you find a low. And I think, as I said, there's not a lot for Microsoft or Intel probably until September. And I think you're probably still going to see that kind of stuff. Intel, of course, none of these are going to be huge movers in that space. I wouldn't short Microsoft or Intel, but at the same time, I think for the most part, it's dead money until we go far, far into the summer and maybe even to September. Potash, open lower. I think I saw some people talking in the den about this one. Certainly tons of volume, and on a day that's basically lower than yesterday, probably you don't like that. January 25th, you had 23 million shares. Got 21 million shares. So I'm going to say we're going to come in at least in that same high volume range from the January 25 down day. I don't know if there's anything out here that says that this does not test the 1464.1 or yet again. You had kind of minimal volume, but I think if you wanted to buy or think that you're going to buy a lot of this, you really need to start seeing some of these lows tested with lighter volume. You had to really dislike the April 12th low that had 12 million shares in it. Previously, the first one off the bottom had 7.6 million shares. This one had 12 million shares. Could you go into an asymmetrical triangle? I think the answer's kind of, but you don't like to see lots of volume where this thing gapped lower and is trying to move higher, as many stocks do. Watch it carefully. I'm not shorting any stock under 30 bucks, but continues to be problematic. MSTR, MicroStrategy, another one that dropped the chalupa, but has gotten a great deal of it back. Of course, now once these stocks have failed, if they can get back up into that 9-day, you want to see how well they've done with volume. You still may have an opportunity to pick a few of these off. I kind of like this one maybe on options if the options get cheap enough. Unfortunately, after something blows apart like this one did today, even if you get a huge recovery, the option premium tends to be rather high. You may need to spend a day or a week or so before you get them. But some of these failures are going to probably try to get back up there. If they do with light volume, go hit that 9-day or go hit previous highs, then maybe you've got more trades setting up for this summer. Anyway, we will be back in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to look and call the live earnings tonight in the 4 o'clock hour for the one and only Tom O'Brien. Hang on for John Logan in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll see you later. Same bat channel, same.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.